Hello and welcome to the forecast for December 2nd till December 8th. My name is Desiree DeLune, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer, and we're going to dive into all of the retrogrades that are happening this week. This is a week where we are being called to slow down, even though you feel like speeding up because all these retrogrades are happening in fire signs. So I want you to just take that message, to take a pause, take a minute, and think thoroughly, okay? Evaluate, assess things thoroughly before you make any big actions, before you make any big decisions. All right, I'm going to share my screen real quick for you and give you a visual of what's happening. And please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every time a video is up weekly. And let's get into this. So we are going to go with Monday first, of course, December 2nd. You notice we have a stellium right here in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is a fire sign. We have our Mercury in retrograde. I am going to come back to that. But look, a stellium was when we have 3 or more planets within a sign. So we both have Sun, Mercury, and Moon. We just had, if you're watching this on a Monday, we just had a new moon in Sagittarius yesterday. So we are still thick in Sagittarius energy. And if you think about what Sagittarius is, it's a fire sign. So it's inspired, it is excited, it's enthusiastic, it loves to learn. Love to expand its mind, loves to learn new things that they've never encountered before, and loves new cultures and experiences and new flavors and new ideologies, new philosophies. So it is just like as a sponge, just soaking up, trying to understand the meaning of life and the meaning of reality and, why people do the things that they do. So there's a lot of excitement that is present here and a lot of energy and open-mindedness as well. And so our feelings, we're going to be reaching for things that feel like we are exploring these new territories and we just want a lot of freedom and independence. That's the thing with Sagittarius. It needs a lot of freedom of movement, freedom of mind. It does not want to be restricted whatsoever. So there's a lot, also very good like communication. There's a need and desire to be social and have a lot of open communication and explore and discuss, different like perspectives. So I really like the flexibility that's present here. There's a lot of flexibility, a lot of adaptability, a lot of changeability when we're dealing with Sagittarius. Okay, so let's talk about some of these aspects that are happening to the planets here in Sagittarius. So first things first, we have Sun trine Mars. Love it. Love Sun trine Mars because now we have this Mars, which represents our energy and vitality. So not only are you like excited about things and optimistic and enthusiastic about things, have some grand visions, but you also have the energy, the vitality to act and move upon those things. So this is very productive. How about that? It's very, I did talk about we have to make sure we're careful before we act. But once you come down to the conclusion of what is really right for you, you can move forward with that. So I really love this. It also just enhances a lot of creative expression because Mars and Leo, it is creative in nature. So a lot of creative energy is going to be moving through us throughout this week. We'll see it time and time again. So if you are needing some kind of like jolt, some kind of boost of your creative life, you're definitely going to be getting it this week. Okay, we do have, oh, by the way, that Sun trine Mars is around until December 4th. I do recommend staying in all of Monday because there's a lot of aspects and positions I'm talking about that's going to be applicable for the whole week, plus and then some. So I'll let you know when we've got an aspect that is extending beyond this week. So for example, our next one is Sun opposite Jupiter. This is going to be sticking around until December 13th. So almost mid-December. And this Jupiter is excess, okay? It expands whatever it touches, right? And so one of the things we have to be careful is just excess overconsumption. I know we're right around the holiday season, so this is going to definitely make you want to overspend overeat, okay, maybe even take on too many commitments and responsibilities. So just be cautious of that, that you're not overextending yourself and overindulging. So again, this is around till mid-December. Now we do have Sun square Saturn, which is a more challenging aspect. And remember, these red lines provide some obstacles. And this may be challenges with authority, okay, having issues with authority figures, issues with parental figures, again, common during the holidays, right? Um, and then also, this does encourage some discipline and hard work too, just kind of getting down and focused on what matters most. Another presentation could be that it can create some self-doubt and some insecurity, inadequacy, and some fear as well. So struggles with commitment. So it can kind of express in either way, depending on you, right? It could be like you're working way too hard, or you're not working hard enough. You're not focused and not disciplined, or overly focused and disciplined. So again, this just depends on you and how it can manifest. But that is a challenging little aspect that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, so let's talk about the moon now. So the moon has a square to Neptune, so a red line from the moon here in Sagittarius to this trident looking one at the bottom in Sagittarius. And this can create some uncertainty in your feelings and confusion in your feelings, all the more reason why we're not going to be making major actions and decisions until you feel that clarity and that certainty. The beautiful thing is we do have a moment this week on Thursday where we're going to have like this powerful pop of clarity and focus and certainty, and that's going to be a really good time to make some actions and moves if needed. So yeah, so Neptune, it really clouds things. It can cause a lot of confusion. So just, reality versus illusion, that might be something you're internally wrestling with here with Moon square Neptune. We do also have not only Sun opposite Jupiter, but Mercury. Mercury is also opposite Jupiter. And this Mercury, just understand this, we have Mercury in retrograde, okay? And what rules Gemini? Mercury rules Gemini. What rules Sagittarius? Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So basically, the ruling planets are in each other's sign. Mercury here does not really like to be in Sagittarius, and Jupiter does not like to be in Gemini. These are both positions of detriment of these planets. This is not normal feeling for them. Mercury cares about being logical and analytical and, sorting through very fine details. And then Jupiter likes the big picture thinking. Okay, it likes the big picture thinking. It's very broad. It's very optimistic. It's very hopeful. It's like, I want to just, make my decision based on my faith and my trust. Whereas Mercury is, I'm going to make my decision based on doing a thorough analysis of every angle and aspect and, pros and cons list and make sure that it's the right decision. Whereas like Jupiter is like, I just feel like it's right. Okay. So as you can see, one, they're in opposition. And then two, they're in a sign that is opposite of their nature. And then three, we have Mercury in retrograde. So here's the thing. Your mind in this situation is probably going to be like ping-ponging all over the place. And, there's this detail and that detail and that detail. But then there's this broad picture view. And then it's just kind of like jumbled all up. And so it's a very challenging time for the mind. There's going to be a lot of restless energy, a lot of restless thinking, and possibly, I think, more confusion because of just the intensity of both of these planets in their position in opposition and Mercury being in retrograde. So what's very important during this scattered, unfocused, trying to like do multiple things, following multiple interests all at the same time, that may be a thing too. And just not having a good management of your thought processes, or not an organized way of thinking. Really slow down. Okay, slow down, allow some of this like mental chaos to happen, because it's It's going to happen. But again, this is not a time to be making decisions here. When we get to Mercury Cazimi, that might be an exception, okay? And that's going to be right around Thursday. So do stick around for Thursday as I talk about Mercury Cazimi. We've got a lot happening this week. We have, we just had Mercury go into retrograde recently. We have Mars going into retrograde, and then we also have a Mercury Cazimi to top it all off. So okay, so get grounded. I would say also don't get overly attached to your thinking and your thoughts and your thought processes. Just allow it to be as it passes through this time. We do have that Mercury opposite Jupiter until December 8th. So this isn't going to be around forever, all right? So just allow for patience and allow for space for this to happen, to unfold. Now, we do have a Saturn square Jupiter. This one right here, so here's Saturn down here at the bottom, and then you have the square of Jupiter. I hope that I am sharing my screen. I am. Okay, just making sure. Saturn square Jupiter. Now, this one is a little bit challenging, and it's going to be around till January 22nd of 2025. So we got this for a bit. Now, Saturn represents challenges, obstacles, delays, restrictions. And then Jupiter represents growth, expansion, and opportunities. Now, that's the thing. We may be facing some delays. There's so much fire energy here, and here Mars and Leo, and we've got Sun, Mercury, and Moon in Sagittarius, another fire sign. And so there's this desire to like hurry it up and do more and do a lot and make a decision now. And there's that internal sentiment going on, those energies moving like that. But then at the same time, we've got Saturn that is like, hey, you need to calm down, because it's also, look, squaring Sun too. So not only is it squaring Jupiter, it's also squaring Sun. We actually have a T-square going on. So Saturn is at the apex here. So you see this triangle, and it's at the point at the top. Well, okay, it looks like it's the bottom, but you know what I mean. It's at the apex here. So Saturn brings discipline. It brings reality. Okay, and focus too. And so you're going to have challenges in those aspects, but it's going to be what's needed. Okay, we're just going to have to muster up the strength, because to handle all of this like ping ponging between Sagittarius and Gemini that I just talked about, one of the answers is going to be do your best to structure your life. Do your best to structure and order your day. Start using a planner if you don't have a planner. I know it's going to be struggle bus. It might be hard and you don't want to. I get it. But in order to handle this, we have to look at the apex, and that Saturn is saying, hey, you need to bring some semblance of structure and order into your life to handle all of these opposing forces. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But it can also create, look, we don't need to be so afraid of these red lines, because that's what it adds this challenge. It adds this energy. It's actually very activating, and it causes us to grow. It is a growth opportunity. So I want you to look at it that it's not just, annoying and irritating. It's a call for growth. And this is the way. This is the way to get there. Okay, so yeah, this is also dealing with that over optimism versus being realistic too. So Saturn will always give that heavy-handed dose of reality, a reality check, like have your big dreams and goals. Now let's make sure that they can actually happen and that they're aligned to you, and not that you're adopting someone else's dreams and goals that are not applicable to your life. All right. Very good. Now, I do want to revisit this Pluto-Mars opposition. We've had it for a while. We've already hit its peak, but we still have, remnants of this energy. This is still prominent. It's still in our lives, okay? They're about 5 degrees apart from that 180 degrees. So I want to talk about just the wide range of impacts from a Mars-Pluto opposition. The one thing, though, is that our Pluto is no longer in Capricorn. Our Pluto is in Aquarius. So this Mars-Pluto opposition does have a slightly different flavor to it. So it is going to really lead us into progressive growth, into evolution, into innovation. And those are the qualities of Aquarius. Now, first things first, let's talk about, Mars is our drive and our passion and vitality and energy. And so we're going to definitely see an increase in intensity and drive, maybe even intensity in your ambition towards certain goals and desires that you want to pursue. This can make you super determined, like you're not letting up no matter what. Also provides a great potential for transformation. I want you to think Pluto. Pluto may not be fun, but it is transformational and it leads to true healing, like actual real healing. So there's a lot of healing that's a part of this mixture here. Okay. So it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst for growth. It's a catalyst for healing. It can create a lot of emotional turmoil. So if internally, like you are experiencing intense, like anger, frustration, irritation, and intense, like just overwhelming emotions in general, because Pluto intensifies our sensations and our feelings. Maybe you have more heat in your system too. This could definitely generate a lot of heat in the system. But just a lot of emotional upheaval can come from this. It's crisis and renewal. That's the essence of Pluto. And then when we throw Mars in there, we're just like activating, accelerating that even more. So if you're experiencing internal crises or just crises around your life, it's because of this influence here. But that crisis is not just to leave you in the puddle of mess. That is going to then lead into a transformation, into a rebirth, into a renewal. So kind of, hold that. If you are feeling beaten down and broken internally, if you're feeling that kind, because this Pluto Mars can bring that kind of sensation of annihilation and complete death and like no hope. All right. But I want you to understand that if you find yourself in positions like that, there is an opposite reaction that's going to happen to it, and you're going to have new growth and new birth and new life eventually. All right, so just trust in that. And this can also be power struggles too. Power struggles with authority, with our parents or people at work, like just dynamics of like who's really in charge, who's in control, who has the most influence, who has the most power. People wanting power. There's going to be an insatiable desire and hunger and need for power. So you can see that out in the news world happening right now. Okay, so that's just a little bit of the Mars-Pluto aspect that is still around. Like I said, it's going to be around till January 17th. That intensity does lessen with each day. So by January 17th, that's going to be the last day of it, and it'll be very mild at that time. All right, now let's talk about Venus. I know there's a lot happening, but again, most of this is going to carry out throughout the week too. So we have multiple aspects to Venus. Venus has got a trine to Uranus. So right here, you see a blue line right here. Okay. And then it also has a sextile to Neptune. So this like the star blue line right here to Neptune, this trident down here. And then the last thing is it's conjunct Pluto. I know they're in different signs, but look how close they are to each other. Anything within a 10-degree orb is something we would consider as a conjunction, and they are 6 degrees away from each other. Okay, 6 degrees, so they're pretty close. Now, this would mean, okay, Venus being next to Pluto, Venus represents our relationships and love and art and beauty, right? And so in the context of relationships, this means that we're probably going to have relationships that are very meaningful, that have depth to them, that are healing and transformative in nature. Okay, so there's going to be a desire for depth in our connection and our intimacy within our relationships. Then we have this Venus trine Neptune. We'll go into that. This is going to bring a lot of romantic dreaminess and intimacy and again, soulful connections. Another indicator for healing healing relationships. So I really am curious to see the quality of relationships that you have at this time, the types of interactions and connections you have with them, because they're going to be very profound in nature, very, like karmic in nature, I would say even. And yeah, if you have a partner, probably like the feelings of being romantic, are also going to elevate. It's going to bring a lot of compassion and care and nurturing and generosity too. And then we have Venus, lastly, in trine with Uranus. And this is all, by the way, this Venus trine, sextile conjunction, all these I'm just talking about are going to be from Monday through Friday. So it's going to go all the way into Friday. So another nice thing between Venus and Uranus is that not only we're going to have this deep connection, but also probably very romantic and need excitement. Uranus brings excitement and adventure and spontaneity. So there's a lot happening, multiple layers of things, great things that are happening within our very, very close relationships as well as our love partnerships. Okay, so that is what we got for Monday and a lot of the week. Let's continue on to Tuesday. So Tuesday, we still have our sun and moon in Mercury. Now they are getting much closer together. And when they are at the same degree, I will show you on Thursday, that's when we have a Cazimi. Now, let's talk about moon though. Moon has entered Capricorn. So it has transitioned into an earth sign from a fire sign. So that's going to bring our emotions a little more grounded than what we were going through yesterday, because, our moon was in a fire sign yesterday or on Monday. And so there's going to be a desire to be very practical, to do things that are more responsible. Not only that, look, we also have moon sextile Saturn. So there's a blue line between moon and Saturn down here, and Saturn rules Capricorn. So not only is it in, Saturn's sign, but it's also having a direct conversation with Saturn. So this is going to bring so much emotional stability, calmness, even resilience. If you're going through rough things, this is going to really strengthen you so that you can power through. You're going to have a desire to be around people and have relationships that are worthwhile, like worthwhile to invest your energy and your time in. So there's Capricorn doesn't deal with things that don't have value. It only cares about what's valuable and what's real, what's true, okay, high value, what's honest. And so if you have doubts about a relationship, then it's not you're not going to invest yourself into it at all. It wants to invest in relationships that feel that are going to be stable and that are going to stick around a long time, and cares about loyalty as well. So you yourself can also be this emotional support for others too. You could be that rock, that solid rock for others. But I like the stability that we get, considering, we've got a lot going on, especially with the mind, with the whole like Sagittarius Gemini thing that I was talking about. I'm really glad that at least on this day, we have this grounding nature, nurturing, calming, settled, secure nature that is present with moon here in Capricorn. We also have Mercury in trine. Square with Saturn, not a trine. It's a square. So this can definitely increase that inner critic. Saturn can bring a lot of how we're hard on ourselves, and the worst part about ourselves can be amplified when it's in square with another planet. So just like, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, what's wrong with me? And that's in square with Mercury, which Mercury is the planet of our mind, our thinking, and our communication. So that could pose a challenge here with Mercury square Saturn. So a lot of self-criticism, okay, and critical inner dialogue that comes from there. All right, so that is our Tuesday. Let's go on to Wednesday. Wednesday, we still have the Sagittarius influence. Moon is still going to be in Capricorn, which is nice. We do have it conjunct Venus, though, so there's going to be more warmth and compassion towards our relationships, too. And we've got Pluto, still close, so a lot of depth and transformation there, too. So this can bring a bit more a desire for pleasure with Moon and Venus being together, and activities that just bring you a lot of comfort and joy. I feel like since Capricorn is an earth sign, like things like just being at home and like cooking at home might be desired, or decorating your home, being out in nature too. Like these are probably things that are going to interest you right around this day on Wednesday. Okay, so let's go into Moon trine Uranus. We do have that. So whenever we have Uranus in conversation, this is going to bring that unexpected, sudden change. And it's going to be in a positive direction. It's also going to bring some spontaneous energy and excitement and fun and unpredictability. So I feel like you're going to have just some really cool new experiences with the people in your life this week. I feel like that's a major indicator. Maybe even like getting very creative and artistic with Moon being conjunct these two, and then also with Uranus talking to them, you'll probably get like this jolt of an idea or some creative like way that you want to handle something or approach something. So I feel like you might get some striking downloads too around this time. All right. So let's see. We have Moon. Oh no, not that one. Never mind. That is our Wednesday. Let's go on to Thursday. Thursday's a big day. Thursday, we do have a Cazimi. I have an extra slide in here that shows the exact time of the Cazimi. but first things first, let's go over everything else. Our moon has moved. As you can see, moon moves pretty fast. And it's so fascinating to watch the moon and what sign it's in every single day, and then see how you do with a moon in a particular sign. So if you're not doing that already, I do recommend. So we have moon pretty close to Pluto now, okay? Here on Wednesday, we had like an 8-degree separation, which is still close, but now we're only 5 degrees away from Pluto. And Pluto's a lot, okay? Pluto is high highs and low lows and just deep feelings. There is no way you're gonna be able to run away from whatever your feelings are. So if you're, you're coming into this day feeling hopeful and optimistic, that's just gonna be like 10 times larger. If you come in feeling defeated or overwhelmed or stressed out, all of that, then that'll probably 10 times that sensation too. So I've noticed, like for me personally, whenever Pluto and Moon are pretty close together, these are days also that provide tremendous healing, by the way. And sometimes those days just don't feel great. Okay, they don't feel great. I feel a lot happening internally. A lot of things are moving and shifting, and they're very draining sometimes. Like I just can't do much physically that day. But then, the next day I come out on the other end like a whole new person. You feel like a whole new person. So I don't want it to scare you, but I just want to put that out there that that's very possible. It is an Aquarius though, and Pluto's in Aquarius. So this is going to be very interesting experience. I don't think we've had this experience yet with a conjunction of Moon and Pluto while they're, both in Aquarius. So that's going to be nice. So Aquarius is a sign that is more intellectual. It's more logical in nature. So it tends to like analyze its feelings versus feeling its feelings. So I'm going to be curious to see how we interact with our emotions, or maybe just our minds and how we analyze our feelings are going to be on hyperdrive with this moon conjunct Pluto. So with this, we're going to want to have more discussions with others. I think that'll be a really good outlet because Aquarius does like to socialize, and it likes to discuss, and it likes to explore and break down and, go deep into a feeling or an idea or a concept or something like that. So, and we still have Venus as part of the mix. So because Venus is relationship, so I think that would be really good to be in company with people that you can be, vulnerable and open and talk through. I feel like there's going to be a huge desire to like talk through things on Thursday with close people, okay? With trusting people, because Venus is in Capricorn, people who are worthy of, hearing the depths of your heart. So not just anyone, just very particular persons. Okay, so we also have moon, not only that, because we have this Pluto Mars conjunction, this means the moon and Mars is also in opposition. So this whole Pluto Mars opposition, we're gonna then add that to the mix. So everything just very intense this day. Please share with us down below what you sensed on this Thursday. I'm very curious to learn and understand. But yeah, this moon is almost an exact in terms of opposition. It's only 1 degree away because we have 6 degrees Mars here in Leo, and then we have 5 degrees of moon in Aquarius. So probably some outbursts might be happening too. Emotional upsets, the rage spells might be coming on, very like frustrated, like maybe even a pressure cooker feel is another way to describe it. You might have a pressure cooker feel and you really need to release that steam, and that's where these very critical people come in to help release some of that steam as well. Do some meditation. It's an air sign. Breath work, meditation will also be very helpful, or just journaling too. I think journaling would be a nice option as well. Okay, now we have Mercury Cazimi. I have an extra slide here because I'm sorry, it kind of switches things over in terms of location, but we have Sun and Mercury at 14 degrees, 27 minutes. That's the exact moment that they are Cazimi. Cazimi means in the heart of the sun. So Mercury is in the heart of the sun. When does this happen? It's on Thursday, December 5th. And I have it on my time zone, but it's going to be 6:18 p.m. on Pacific time and 9:18 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so it's going to happen if you're in North America. It's going to be happening more in the evening, okay, in the beginning of the evening time. So what does this mean? Now, we have retrograde happening, right? But it's almost like we're getting this reprieve from this retrograde, because retrogrades are about reevaluate, reassess, redo, and realign. Like a lot of the re words is what you think about with the retrogrades. And in this situation, like it's our beliefs, our philosophies, our ideologies, or how we're just thinking about something, maybe how we're approaching something. A lot of our perspectives are probably going to need some pause and reconsideration during this Mercury retrograde. Now, the exception is with this Cazimi happening, you're going to have this moment of clarity of thought. And it may be even better because you've been in this Mercury retrograde and you've combed through something multiple times. And like, this would be that exception where like, you can definitely make a decision here. You can act here. It's not going to be impulsive. You're going to have some sort of breakthrough in your perspective, in your thinking, in a problem that you're trying to solve. You might have that like breakthrough answer that just comes through. So it's enhanced clarity, enhanced focus, enhanced creative expression as well. This will be a great thing for writers. Okay, writers, artists, anyone in just creative work in general. This might feel very flowing and just coming through without any friction. So important decisions can be made here. It's also a good time where you could start something new, a new project as well. So I like this Mercury Cazimi. We have it Thursday night. Keep that in mind. And you might have that space where you're just like, okay, I know what I need to do. I get it now. I've gone through it enough. Okay, so good time also for communication too, because Mercury is a planet of communication. So having important discussions, negotiations, things of that nature will be on your side during this Cazimi. And also launching new things. Okay, even though it's in a retrograde, this Cazimi makes an exception here. This does enhance just those retrograde activities too. So if you are like in that space of, well, you will be, but like in reevaluation, reassessment, reviewing, things like that, those functions, those processes are also going to be enhanced and improved and optimized as well. So if you have to go through a lot of data or details, this is a good conjunction here for you to do that. All right, that's our Mercury Cazimi. Let's go on to Friday, which is we have Moon trine Jupiter going on. Oh, let me move to the next one. Okay, so we have Moon trine Jupiter. That will bring a lot of optimism, a sense of well-being, generosity, expansive, very positive, seeing the bright side of things. So that will be really nice. We do have Moon square Uranus, so that does bring some sudden changes and unpredictability. It's a square, so it could be unsettling. I'm hoping that we, with this Moon in trine with Jupiter, is going to be able to mitigate that. And Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, so my goal is that this is not going to be too disruptive, but it could bring like some, sense of like sudden insight and creativity too. It can come in that form. Now, Saturday, we have Moon that's transitioned into Pisces. Now, Pisces is a very imaginative, creative, intuitive sign. It's a water sign. So there's going to be a lot more feels here. I will say, though, that the Moon doesn't have any harsh aspects, which is very nice. So I like this. I think it's a very spiritual sign as well. So you're going to feel more idealistic and connected to the collective, connected to life, the world. Like there's a lot of creativity here too. So I think this is a really nice, actually calmer moon day for us, and maybe good time for creative work as well. Now we do have Mercury in trine with Mars. So let me see right here. Yep, Mercury in trine with Mars. This is a really nice aspect. This is going to help with quick thinking, processing a lot of information rapidly and thoroughly. It's very intelligent. So as Mercury's in retrograde, I like that we do have this Mars, because that whole like reevaluate, that analytical processes, reassess, redo, like you're going to be sharp, fast, quick. I feel like you're going to get quite a bit out of this. And it does really help with just having a more assertive style of communication, more persuasive, very effective communication. So really nice one. Now Mars goes into retrograde. Okay, we have to keep this in mind. Mars is in retrograde. Now this happens every couple of years, and this is a time where we have to reevaluate our goals, make sure they're in alignment with our desires, with our true desires, with our destiny, because Mars represents our ambition and our desires and goals and things of that nature. So this is a call for us to make sure that, hey, all this effort and energy, because Mars is a lot of energy, right, that we're putting into something, is it the right thing? Is it the right thing? And sometimes this is the slow down to speed up concept. We're being called, even though like we want to go do with all this fire stuff, it's still important that we slow down and take a minute and make sure that we are putting all of this like life force into a project or something that is really true to us, and not just jump the gun because everybody else is doing it or that's what's popular or that's what's trending. Like it needs to be truly aligned. So and you can have a lot of this energy turns inward. When we're dealing with retrogrades, they turn inward. And so it's going to make us very introspective and very reflective, reviewing our past actions. Like this is a good thing. I see it as a good thing because, when Mars goes back into direct motion, we're going to go full force into the right stuff. Okay. Not into the delusional stuff. Cool. Very good. So that's our Mars retrograde. Slow down before speeding up is the main message here. Now, Sunday's a rough day. We have moon in Pisces that's got a lot of feels already. We have so many squares. We have moon square the sun, which can create some mood swings, and it can create some, self-expression too, but it's a little bit less flowy internally. How about that? Moon square Mercury, so that's gonna make it hard to express and articulate our feelings, possibly having some conversations that are tense and misunderstandings could happen there. Moon square Jupiter, that's probably magnifying our feelings too, exaggerating them, amplifying them. You could overextend yourself and burn yourself out a bit there too. We have moon conjunct Saturn, which Saturn can feel very restrictive. You can have a lot of self-doubt that rises up, a lot of just being self-critical as well. So, and that could all be magnified by this square to Jupiter. So this is not going to be a super happy feeling day. Just know that moon is in Pisces and it's in a water sign. And so go be around water in some way, shape, or form. Walk near water, go walk near a creek, by the ocean. The ocean would be preferable. Take a bath, take a shower. I think that will help soften in the moon and calm the moon down with all of this aggravated energy that is being funneled literally at the apex here in this T square, being funneled right to the moon. So just expect Sunday to possibly feel out of sorts, and you're going to need to do a lot of self-care on this day. For those of us who are super hyper empaths, do a lot of self-care, but incorporate water just to help mitigate the intensity of what the moon is going through, because moon is our feelings, it's our emotions, it's our internal world. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this forecast. If you want to learn more about corrections, mitigations, I give all kinds of blends, recipes in Rise and Thrive to help you move through each month. And I always consider what's going on planetarily as well as what's going on within my community to support them with the best options for essential oils. So I'll link that down below. And if you'd like a cosmic clarity consultation with me, that'll also be down below. All right. Well, thank you so much. We will see you next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do share away if you feel inclined. All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.